Hey friends, welcome to Monday Motivation. I'm so excited for this upcoming week. This week we are going on the attack and we are going to increase our mental toughness by finding a big why that is bigger than ourselves. I truly believe the Apostle Paul was one of the most mentally tough men in history. We read a story in 2 Corinthians chapter 12 about all the things that he went through to share the gospel and to bring forward the message of hope, the message of Christ in that time. He was hungry, he was thirsty, he was put in prison at different times. He was stoned nearly to death, and then he gets back up and he goes back into the city. Nothing could stop him. He was lashed 40 times minus one multiple times. He was beaten with rods. This man went through so much and nothing would stop him from sharing the hope of Jesus. He kept going. He kept going. He was tough. And what in the world made him so tough? I believe he had a motivation that was so much bigger than himself. It says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, starting in verse 14, it says this, it says, "The love of Christ compels us. For we have concluded this, that one died for all. Therefore all have died. And he died so that those who live might no longer live for themselves, but for Christ who died and rose again on their behalf." The Apostle Paul was overwhelmed by the love of Jesus. And that love drove him to keep going, to keep sharing the hope of the gospel, no matter what he faced. He was compelled by the love of God. He was motivated to live for the Lord, motivated for eternal impact. It wasn't about him. In fact, we read in Galatians that he died to himself so that he might live to Christ. So we as competitors can learn from this. If we want to be mentally tough, if we want to be strong followers of Jesus in the face of peer pressure and persecution, we have to be driven by something bigger than ourselves. Mental toughness increases when our motivation leaves self and it becomes something big like chasing eternity, living for the Lord, competing for Christ. And so this week, let's go on offense. Let's let the love of Christ compel us. Let's let a motivation bigger than ourselves compel us to do the thing that God has called us to do and to be excellent at our sports. I can't wait to see what God does. Let's crush the week. Here we go.